Well, welcome back to a somewhat sunny day for both here in Wisconsin and in Canada. Season 3, episode 12.
13.
That's what I meant to say. Keep you on your toes. We have Lambros here from the neighbors up north. Just doing a recap. I know he's gone on before. He's a broker up in
Toronto,
Toronto, Canada market. We first talked to you when it was like in the height of the seller's market, where it was like pulling teeth to try and find something. And you were talking more about the condos that are going up in that market, and that's like the hotbed for what you and your clients are looking at. Things have settled down slightly around here, but not much. It's still multiple offers. They're up on Thursday. They're sold on Sunday. They're flying still. Even after I guess, did your interest rates increase?
They did, both on the fixed side and on the variable side. I think you guys call it adjusted rates or adjustable rates or something like that. So fixed, we call it variable. Same thing. Both sides went up, and the adjustable side is going to keep going up, from what I understand. So we had a rate increase in March. We're going to have another one in April, and probably at least one or two more throughout the year.
And that's what they were talking about here in the US too, was 4 throughout the year. The first one hit in March. So it really hasn't changed our market too much. There was a big push right before the anticipated increase to see if they could get the rates locked in and all that. But other than that, it's been pretty much the same, par for the course for the last year.
I think we've had pretty much the same up here. I don't remember exactly when I was on last, but we did have a spike in December, and then January and February were super hot here. I mean, you talk about listing on Monday, selling on Thursday. I mean, here houses went up at 9 a.m., sold by 2 p.m. Like it was just insane, right? So the market was nuts. Thankfully, in late February and March, we saw a ton more inventory come to the market. So that kind of settled things down. It's like you took a big hose and just, flattened things out a little bit. Not to say that the market has evened out, not by any stretch, but it's still, there's more options for buyers right now. So it has cooled down. It's like we've gone from boiling hot to simmering kind of thing. So it's still hot.
That's about where we're at. We've had a couple where I would call for a client who's looking at this house, and I would call the agent, and it happened one time where like, I'm sorry, we had to stop the showings. What was the word they used? I have an overwhelming amount of offers. Wow. So they stopped the showings on like mid-Saturday.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the hard part for my husband and I is, while we're looking at possibly getting another property, we don't want to have to fight for a property. Like we want to be able to put an offer in and not have a bidding war with it, or like have to like compete. So that's the tough part in the market today, I think.
There are still those opportunities out there, because I did have a buyer last fall who, I mean, for some reason or another, the sellers didn't get the offers they were expecting. So we went in, we were the only offer. They still wanted over asking. I think we offered, they were listed at, I think 1.29, so say 1.3, and we offered 1.35, so 50K over. They wanted 1.4. My clients said, no way, we're the only players, so why would we give you that much, right? So we walked away, and sure enough, 5 days later, they came back to us because they thought maybe they leave it on the market a little bit longer, have another open house or something, but that went south for them. They came back to us and said, hey, if you guys still want to do the 1.35, we'll take it. I told my clients, let's go in at 1.335 or something like that, just, but they didn't want to, because they really wanted the house. So said, we're not going to play games. Just give them the 1.35 and then we're happy. Everybody's happy. So
I still am blown away by the prices of housing up in Canada. It just blows my mind.
It does. And this is just an average house, right? I mean, it's nothing special to it. It needs work too. It needs renos. So
really at 1.5.
Yeah, 1.35.
1.35.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
sanity.
But it is like backs onto this conservation area. So the backyard is nice. It's almost like an extended backyard. So
Oh.
it's a beautiful home right in the heart of Toronto. So
Gotcha. And that was a home, not a condo?
it's a freehold house. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Detached home. Yeah. Single family home.
Gotcha. What's the square footage on a 1.35? What was that one? Obviously with the yard that adds value to it, but
Yeah.
just to put in perspective.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think this one probably was around maybe just over 2,000 square feet. I want to say,
Oh,
well,
wow.
actually, no, because I think it's considered, I'm not sure if it's considered a bungalow. No, because I mean, there's a walkout on it's on a slope.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say it's a bungalow because there's the basement, but there's a basement walkout. So, I mean, if it was just the upper level only, it would probably be about, 1,000, maybe 1,200 square feet, something like that. But altogether, maybe just over 2,000, 2,300 square feet, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They get the benefit of the walkout because it's on a hill.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's still
That's-
nuts. It's
Still
so
nuts. Yeah.
Is
That's
that pretty comparable for a standalone home in the Toronto city area?
Yeah, actually, the detached home now has gone up higher than that, right? A detached
Oh,
home,
really?
an average, say 2,500 square foot home in Toronto is probably close to $2 million right now. It's just insane.
Wow.
It's just insane.
Well,
So there's not a lot of people owning homes in the Toronto area, which is why the condo market is so high.
well, that's what's mind-boggling because they're still selling, right? They're still selling and prices keep going up. So I don't know where people are getting all this money from.
I was going to say, how do people afford these houses?
Yeah, I have no
a
idea.
60-year loan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they put down, and they have to put down 20% because here we have a rule where if it's over $1 million, you have to put 20% down, right? Because otherwise nobody will lend to you, right? Because we have something called mortgage insurance, and the mortgage insurance doesn't apply if it's over $1 million. So, they have to put down 20%, otherwise nobody's going to lend it to you. So I don't know where these people are getting all this money from. And so, but the good thing is when you do that, then you don't have to stick to the amortization rules, which are 25 years max. Then after 20% down, you can put it 30 years, 40 years, whatever, right? So you can amortize it out longer and make your monthly payments lower.
So, like, what are the salaries up there? Because down here, to be able to get $1 million is like mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, rule of thumb is you have to qualify for it's approximately 4.5 to 5 times your income, right? So, but we see a lot of if it's a couple, maybe they have, between the two of them, 300K that they're making, or maybe there's 2 or 3 or more people joining in, 2 families joining in. We see a lot of that as well. So they're combining their income and buying houses together. So that's going on.
Families living in one house.
Yeah. So that's why second suites are huge right now. If they have a basement apartment, or if there's some kind of separate entrance, or they can make a duplex type of house where 2 families can stay, or extended families, in-laws, whatever. And so that's happening right now. Gifts from parents, because that's the only way young people can buy homes these days. Millennials are probably the largest group right now buying houses, right? Because they're in their prime buying age right now, 25 to 40, thereabouts, right? So they're the ones buying up all these houses, but their parents and their in-laws are the ones who are granting them or giving them deposit money, right? So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Or I guess if they get inheritances or something like that as well, that would probably.
Sure. Yeah. No, but I think the average, there was a some kind of study done, and I think the average gift was over $100,000 that they were giving their kids, right, in order to buy a house.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're taking from the equity from their homes, right? Because don't forget, these people maybe have lived in their houses for 20, 30, 40 years, and their homes have appreciated now. So they may have bought the house for, maybe even 5 digits, right, back in the day, or maybe 100 or 200,000, and now it's worth 10 times that much. It's worth $1 million, so they can take some money out of that and give it to their kids. Right?
That's gotta have a nice feeling.
Yeah.
My investment property, goes like that, or like,
right?
like that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
What was the big change from? I mean, that's a huge appreciation. Obviously, our market's high right now, but
Yeah.
that doesn't equate for how much equity they have. Was there a big switch, or did something happen up there where it just drastically increased?
That's a great question. No, we used to see, on average, you could probably estimate 5%, maybe 6% if it was a good year, every year appreciation.
Yeah.
Since 2015, for some reason, we started seeing double-digit appreciation. So 10% one year, 12% another year. When the pandemic hit, that's when things started really going nuts. Because early in the pandemic, we thought, the market would tank. Everybody was worried. Sales went down 80%, right? So we were thinking, oh my God, here we go, market crash. But the opposite happened. The market took off. And from 2020 to 2021, we saw over 20% appreciation. Like depending on the neighborhood, I saw as high as 33% year over year appreciation, like 1/3. That's wow. Insane, right? And obviously not sustainable. Wow. And then the same thing, and we thought it would slow down in 2021, but it didn't. It did it again. So from 2021 to this year, now we saw again 18 to 33%, like depending on the neighborhood and depending on the type of property, right? So like I can't explain that. That's just I just bring it down to supply and demand, because we had record low supply and we had high demand, and then over the winter months is when it really took off because supply went down even more. I guess nobody wanted to sell over the holidays. People panicked. I attribute it to fear of missing out, FOMO. If you guys are aware of that, right? So they see supply going down and down and down. They think, oh no, I'm never going to get in the market if I don't get in now. So that contributed to all the bidding wars. Like December, January was just insane. Like usually those are slow months, but for us up here in the last 2 years, we're just nuts. Yeah.
And that's what's been the most difficult for new buyers coming in and looking like right now. They're like, I don't think we're ever going to buy a house.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to understand that this is such an odd time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most people haven't gone through this.
No, they haven't.
So everybody's just trying to get a house, and we're in the winter months where there's not a lot of inventory.
Yes.
So in the spring it might settle down, but still there's going to be a bunch of buyers. There's just going to be more houses.
It's the hot season for us here. So, you know.
And it's so uncommon when we go on and you're looking in a pretty sought after area and there's 1 or 2 houses on the market.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it. So like if you're going to move into this city, you've got 2 choices in this price range.
That's right. Yeah, I should clarify something. The low inventory is kind of like it's almost like smoke and mirrors, because there is a ton of inventory because we're getting a ton of sales. So there is a lot of inventory coming to the market, but it just doesn't last very long. Like I said a few minutes ago, and like you said, it just sells in days, sometimes in hours. It just, boom, it pops up and it's gone, right? You have a ton of showings. Somebody, or maybe they want to say, okay, we're not looking at offers until Monday kind of thing. But somebody brings in what we call a bully offer, right? So they say, okay, well, here's our offer, take it or leave it. And sometimes the sellers take it, sometimes they don't, right? So, but that's what happens, right? So, every time I book a showing now for my clients, I always have to call the agent and ask them, is this place still available? Right. Because I don't want to book it and then find out, oh, sorry, it's been sold. Yeah. And that was the one offer where they're like, we had to pull it because they canceled the showing. Yeah. And I was like, you canceled the showing on Sunday, 11 o'clock. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we had to pull it off the market. And I was like, that is insane. Yeah. But congratulations for all your offers. Like it's obviously a good thing for you and the sellers. Well, it's good if they work, right? Sometimes we put in, 6, 7, 8 offers and nothing happens, right? If we lose out to someone else, right? So, but I know, knock on wood, I've been pretty fortunate lately with my clients. we've been able to win the bidding war. So
Yeah.
I
have one client that I think we're on our 4th or 5th offer. I think every single one has been 20 over and they've lost. And now they're closing. So now you can see what they sold for. And they're going back and they're like, we gave them the same offer. And I was like, but you don't know if that one was cash. And obviously we've got the appraisal contingency, and they actually lost one and the deal fell through. They had offered actually more than what the accepted offer was.
Right.
But the sellers were like, okay, this one's cash. We'll take that one.
Exactly.
And after they'd sent in the earnest money, and then about 3 or 4 days after, the buyers just went cold and just didn't communicate.
Yep.
So it went back on the market. They called and they're like, hey, if you're still interested, it's back on the market.
Yeah.
And within the 5 or 6 hours of me communicating with the clients, they already had 4 other offers. So they're like, yeah, we're just going to, it wasn't the one that they really, really wanted.
Right.
They're like, we're not going to get into another bidding war on that house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And we've seen that a bit, not so much lately, but early in the pandemic when things were going nuts. We saw a lot of that the buyers would get cold feet. They wouldn't bring their deposit check. Or earnest money check. You guys call it earnest money. We call it deposit. So now what agents are doing, they've gotten smarter and they're saying, well, with your offer, we want to see that check. We want to see a bank draft or something that you have those funds ready in hand, and then boom, you're ready to go, right? Otherwise, they might go with a lower offer. Like you said, maybe it's not the highest offer that wins the day. It could be one that has a check in hand, or one that's a cash offer, no contingencies, right? We call them conditions up here. So no finance contingency, no home inspection, just give me the house, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good idea. Those little things go a long way. And I know it's not always the dollar amount, it's the whole offer. And correct. I mean, we're giving them everything that we can at this point. We're giving them the closing date, everything they could possibly want. We're giving them. The only thing that they do keep is the appraisal. And even at that, we've done coverages where you have the appraisal contingency, but we're going to cover up to X amount if it's short. Yeah. Still losing offers.
I don't think I could go into buying a house without having an inspection done. Like, to me, that's like stupidity at its finest, but I understand why people are doing it now, because houses are just literally flying off the shelves. But
no, I agree with you. And that's why I went in with my clients on Wednesday. We did the inspection before we put the offer in. So offer day was Thursday yesterday, but we went in on Wednesday. They allowed us to go in and do an inspection, just a quick walkthrough, right? So that's what I've been doing now with my clients. Excuse me. If we think that the house may need some work, if it's an older home, if it's a newer home, there's not that many concerns. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It's like, okay, you pay $5,000 for a furnace, or we got to replace the roof, 10,000. Just figure I'll take it off the purchase price, or I'll deal with it if it happens, right? So for newer homes, it's not much, or even condos, it's not much of a concern, because most of the big ticket items are covered by the condo corp. But if it's an older house, absolutely, I would want an inspection done.
And my husband and I, we seem to only like old houses. So.
Yeah, well, you fix them up anyway. So I mean, if you're gonna tear down the place or gut it or whatever and renovate it, then again, inspection is not so much a concern, because you can fix all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Scary.
And the benefit of going through and knowing what to look for and what are problem areas does help alleviate, saying, like, when we walk in a house and you see some blatant misses, this is one that I'm not an inspector, so I can't tell you what's wrong with it, but this is one I would suggest getting an inspection on because of these items. And then there's some that are older but still in really good shape, and they've done the things that they need to do, and it'd be like, I don't fear skipping the appraisal or the inspection on this one, because of these things were done correctly. So if they're doing these things correctly, they're probably doing the other things correctly. And it's not going to be a big item. Like, your foundation walls aren't going to cave in. All your appliances and your mechanicals are relatively new or have been tuned up recently. But then you go into some of them that have been flipped. I think there was a couple shows ago I was talking about one we went through that they just recently flipped the first floor and they had done the bathroom.
Okay.
But to put in their new toilet, they cut out 2 floor joists.
Ooh,
So if you stand, if you kind of straddled the toilet and put
Yeah.
your weight down behind it, the whole
Yeah.
floor just sinks because there's
Oh,
nothing holding it.
So scary.
And someone's going to go in and
Yeah.
not get an inspection on that one.
Wow.
It's mind blowing.
It is. So yeah, that's why I'm wary of flips like that, because you don't know what kind of corners they've cut, right?
Exactly.
I'm thankful that I've done enough renovations in my life, so I kind of know what things to look for, right? So
Yeah.
stuff like that, I would notice if a floor is uneven or soft or whatever, or if we go like maybe some houses don't have basements where you are, but here we always have basements, and we can look underneath and say, here, these floor joists have been cut, kind of thing. So we know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Most do. You see more full basements than anything else, but we have the sporadic crawl space.
That would be
Right.
Natasha, you are an anomaly.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
I hate it. I would kill for I would do anything for a basement.
Wow.
That is okay. Just no more living space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just raise your house up, dig it out, put it right back. It
Perfect.
can't be that
Sure.
hard.
And I have another bedroom and a bathroom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did I see, and we talked a little bit before we went live, you got some awards up there.
Mhm. Yeah.
What were those for? Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. No, that's very kind of you. Thanks for mentioning that. It's a sales award, and again, knock on wood, I'm very grateful. I've been pretty consistent over the last 6 years. I've gotten the same award for 6 years now, 6 years in a row. So I'm grateful to that. I'm grateful to my clients. And it's just a lot of repeat and referral. So once they work with me, they come back. So that kind of keeps my business going.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome. Do you have a lot of clients that come back a second round already?
Yeah. I've had that a few times now. They've come back,
That's great.
Yeah, one's
And
come
they're
back
not the
3
ones
times
buying the 1.3 and then 5 years later moving again, are they?
Gosh.
Well, they are. I mean, it's with the market, right? I know one guy, worked with him 3 times now. I think the first house he bought, what did we buy it for now? I think it was in the 500s. And then when we sold it, it was in the 700s. And then he bought another one. It was for 900. And then we sold that one. It was close to $1 million. So I worked with him
Wow.
4 times now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good for
He's
him.
been doing something right. You guys make
Well,
a good team.
Yes and no, because I actually told him not to sell it because this was again early in the pandemic. I think it was May or June of 2020. And he was worried the market was going to tank. And I told him, look, there's no signs of the market tanking. It's actually just the opposite. The market's taking off right now. If it was me, I wouldn't sell this because, you may be losing a lot of money if you do, and you may not be able to get back in the market. He didn't listen to me. He still sold, and then he had to rent because he couldn't buy anything. He ended up moving to Calgary, which I don't know if you guys know where that is, out in Alberta. Yeah. It's freezing cold out there, right?
I know their hockey team. Never
That's right, the
been,
Calgary
but I know their
Flames.
hockey
Yeah,
team.
absolutely. Yeah. So then he calls me not even a year later. Just a few months later. He moved to Calgary, I think in June of last year. And then this year in around October, November, he called me and said, hey, it's too cold out here. My wife hates it. I need to move back to Ontario. Like, okay, but what are you going to find now? We couldn't find anything for him. And the poor guy now, he's living in a basement apartment. So with his family. So it's terrible. It's a terrible situation. I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's just that tells you how the market is. It's just nuts, right? Yeah.
So do you think after sale and his proceeds and now him renting, are you saying he might break even or go negative just because he's now putting money into a rental?
Well,
and the loss of what could have been with all the appreciation if he held out until now.
Yeah, if he hadn't sold and held out till now, that house, it would easily be going for 1.2 to 1.3, maybe.
Okay.
Because that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So a bit, but it's hard to say where he's at right now because I don't know the situation of his financial situation, right? I know
Yeah.
he's got a good job and everything like that, so he may be able to get back in the market one day. I think that's his plan. I think maybe that's why he's living in the basement, because he just wants to save up enough money for a down payment and then
Yeah.
go ahead and buy something. And I hope for his sake that the market slows down so that he can get back in at some point.
Yeah. Once it all starts to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. And we've already seen signs of that a little bit. I mean, like I said, it went from boiling hot to simmering right now. There's been a ton more supply coming in. So things are kind of balancing out, right? So, and we're not getting the 20, 30 offers we saw from last year. We're getting maybe 5, 6 offers right now. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. Still over the average, I would say.
Still over the average. Yeah.
I'm anticipating, I'm so curious to see what's going to happen. Maybe like late April, May. And I've just been crossing my fingers. I was like, do not let anything happen until we finish this flip. Just keep it as going. Like I'm anticipating, like I want like 10 offers. It's going to be the cherry on top of the project.
That's what I was
And I'm saying that in a negative tone because it was a project.
Yes.
To get that off the books and sold. Someone's going to enjoy it. I just want the market to stay where it's at. And then after that, let's let it correct itself. We're
That's
fine.
what I was going to ask you guys. What do you see the market doing for like the rest of the year? Do you see it continuing to go up, or do you see it kind of leveling out, or what do you guys?
Wow. I didn't bring my crystal ball today, so I don't know if I can answer that.
I'm looking for mine still.
I don't have one.
My anticipation, I think it's going to flatline. I don't see it dropping drastically, maybe next year, but for the remainder of the year, I don't see it plummeting much.
Yeah.
There might be more of a surplus, but I think there's going to be enough buyers to go at it. I don't think the interest rates will get to a point where it's going to like push buyers out by the end of the year. So I think this is where we're in until the end of the year.
Yeah,
I would have to agree with that. I think the trend of more supply is going to continue because spring is traditionally the time of year where people want to sell, right? Because they want to sell over the summertime. So we're going to see a ton more supply. There's a lot of buyer burnout or buyer fatigue, we call it up here. So people are sick of the bidding wars. So there's going to be less or fewer buyers and then more inventory. And I think like we're all, COVIDed out here. Like we've had it worse than other places.
Are the trucks still at the Capitol?
I think they're gone now. I think
they gone?
They brought in some like a police or whatever to remove everybody. But whether that worked or whatever, like the mandates have finally been lifted. You don't have to have a vaccine passport anymore. You don't have to wear your mask anymore. It's all optional, right? So. And I think so people are more comfortable now putting their houses on the market. So there's going to be a lot more inventory. So I think there's going to be a lot more, of that. So I would tend to agree with you. Things are going to balance out a little bit and maybe flatline or very, very small appreciation, not the crazy incline that we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, that couldn't hold up. If it went up from here, I'd start getting worried, but I'm interested to see, you were talking about burnout. I'm wondering how many agents can rally their clients to say like, I know it's exhausting. And I know you've just lost 8 offers and you're sick and tired of being told no, but right now like would be the time if you're serious to keep going, even though it's going to suck. And even though it's been months and months and months of negatives, it would be a good time now in the spring to put your best foot forward. And then if nothing happens, then wait.
Yeah, I've been through that situation. Late 2020, early 2021, I had clients who put in 7 offers, 8 offers, and they didn't get anything, right? One couple in particular, after the 8th offer, they gave up, stopped for a while, and then started up again. Once they saw that prices were only going up, they said, okay, we have to do this because if we take a break, prices are still going up. So depends on how you perceive the market and how you're looking at it. So they went from looking at single family detached home, ending up buying a condo townhouse, right? So because that's all they could afford.
Yeah.
They waited too long. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But now they bought that one. They hope for appreciation on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they move up and get the single family. It's crazy
No.
to try and put myself in that perspective, because where we live, there's not many condos.
Okay.
There are some, and they're building some new ones, but really like everything is single family home
Well, the
around
condos
us.
in our town are like kind of luxury condos too. So it's not even like, there are some that are more like more available to like the middle
The
class.
common person.
Yeah, the common person. But
Yeah.
that's one condo section out of like 4 other that are high class condos. So it's like, it's not even attainable. But personally, I would prefer to live in a condo where all the maintenance and everything is taken care of. But that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. To each their own. Right. So,
My
you
dog
know-
would hate that.
And I want to get AstroTurf for my yard. So
nice.
You're pulling in the California role with the AstroTurf.
I mean, I had a doggy daycare, and that's all we had at the doggy daycare was AstroTurf, and it was so easy. So,
Really? And the dogs didn't mind? They were,
no, they loved it because they didn't get
wow.
muddy, they didn't get messy, they just
Oh, yeah.
romp and play. So
But how do you clean that? Like if they go
hose,
on it? Oh, okay. I guess. Hose.
hose, and then a bag.
All right.
However, take care of it normally.
Okay. Doesn't it stain though? I think it would. You have all these stains in the,
Nope,
okay.
not one bit. It comes right off with a hose.
I guess
Learn-
it's easier than trying to plant grass and keep that all growing. And
Exactly.
That
So
is
that
true.
looks nice all year round. See? Come on.
Yeah.
have you seen the other thing that they're doing in California? They have a company out there that goes in with green paint
Yes,
and just sprays your grass.
I have.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen that too.
What do you guys think of that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna give it to them. That is very, very creative.
Well,
Very creative.
it's so it's easier than going into Photoshop and doing it all that way when you're taking pictures, right? You know?
True.
Yeah.
I'll give it to them. It's creative. Would I want my grass painted green? No. But they don't have any other option. Like there's stints within the year that they just cannot water. They're not allowed by the state of California
That's
to
right.
water their grass.
That's
Yeah.
right. They don't
So
get
it's-
enough water. Yeah.
It's gonna die.
Yeah.
So out of necessity, I think it's needed.
Yeah. 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 We don't
And
have
the
that problem.
struggles
up here.
that we don't have here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. Neither up here too. I mean, we only have grass for like 2 months out of the year anyway.
Exactly. And it's funny, my house just got done, landscaping's not done. So first thing, once the weather breaks, is to finish up some concrete work and then plant and seed my yard. And I'm super excited because by the end of it, it'll start to get cold and then I won't be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because we get like 3 to 4 months and that's about it.
That's why you should just hardscape, Marcus.
Just everything in concrete.
No, not concrete, just other materials.
I think concrete would be great.
I would love that. That would be all me. But then
Or the AstroTurf. I'll look into pricing that out, what the AstroTurf would
there
be.
you go. Well, I mean, we did our putting green, so I mean, we know where to get it from.
Nice.
That's true. Just one big golf course in the backyard.
That would be nice, having a golf course in the back
That would be so fun.
with a little golf cart
Oh, yeah.
riding around. Yeah.
My dad actually had a golf cart for a while. He named it the old man's Tesla.
Okay. Cool.
I like
Poor
that.
man's Tesla.
Yeah, I'll have to find the logo for it. I'll put it on the post because he was very, very proud of that. And he had T-shirts
Yeah.
with it and everything.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Nice.
he was all in. All in with that.
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
proud. Oh my god.
Awesome. The original electric car.
It was.
Exactly.
It was.
Love it.
Lambros,
Yeah.
I missed this question before because you were talking about how families are teaming up, pooling money, pooling funds,
Yeah.
living in the same detached single family. Are you
Yeah.
guys allowed ADUs in
What's an ADU?
an additional dwelling unit?
Yes, yes, they are now, because that's one of the things that the government is looking at in order to help with housing. Because housing, it's in a crisis right now. We're getting over 400,000 people coming to this country, and most of them are landing in the Greater Toronto area, and there's no houses. And, 5-6 years ago, you had to get a permit to put in a second unit, and it was very tough, lots of red tape. But now the government is encouraging people to add second units, and not only second units in the main house, but also garden suites. So if you have a lot that's big enough, you're allowed to put in, some kind of, enlarged doghouse, for lack of a better word, and have people just, live there.
Little studio apartment.
Exactly. So an in-law can live there, or you can rent it out, or something, right? So
that's good that they're getting progressive with that, because
yeah, it's going to help. It should help, because like I said, housing is a huge concern right now.
Yeah. Is unemployment, I know this isn't a real estate question, but unemployment still staying relatively in proportion, I guess, or getting okay? Because when you're saying 400,000 coming in each year, like obviously there needs to be a job market for,
and there is, we're pretty much at 100% employment right now.
That's awesome.
I think it's at 95%, but when it's at 95%, they consider it 100%, because there's always a little bit of, people on maternity leave or what have you. Right. Yeah. So, so we're pretty much full. Everybody's working, and the people that are coming in, most of them are, people that can get good jobs and things like that. So there is some kind of qualification for people to come here, and eventually they'll buy something, whatever. So they're not just bringing anybody in. They have to qualify in order to come here and get good jobs and things. Yeah.
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, that's good. It keeps things moving, and obviously you're getting
it boosts the economy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all reciprocal. It helps the economy, right? So the only thing, the downside of it is it just puts too much pressure on home prices, like you saw, because it's just too much demand now, because everybody's coming in. And add that to, like I mentioned before, the millennials, right, which is the largest demographic right now. So we've got immigrants, we've got millennials, all these people buying houses. The seniors don't want to move because they're afraid to go into a nursing home, because that's where the huge COVID outbreaks were. So you combine all those factors, and that brings supply down and brings demand up.
Yeah, I was just talking to my brother-in-law about the apartment complexes. I don't know if you have them up there, but down here we're seeing more 55 and up apartment complexes. Okay. So not a retirement home, not an assisted living, but to qualify into this apartment complex, 55 and up. Yeah, I would be all over that at 55. Like my youngest would be out of the house. Yeah, I would then have no yard work. I could just come home and it's basically like a condo, but I don't own anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we do see that, but I don't think, I don't think you can say it like it might be considered age discrimination, right? So
I thought I don't think it's with fair housing.
Yeah, exactly. But there are a lot of buildings, condo or otherwise, or rental purpose buildings, that you see the majority are 55 and up. There are seniors there. Right. So, and like even the building where I'm in right now, I'm not 55, but there is a healthy portion of seniors in this building, or 60 plus at least. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did have a question on that fair housing with them marketing, because their signs all say 55 and up apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they get away with it because it's a whole building. Like we're not putting one house out and saying only people that are 55 and up can live. I'm gonna rent this place to.
Yeah.
Because it's a pre-qualification. I think they get around that, but that's a lawyer question.
It is a lawyer question. I don't know exactly how it would work. I think by law they couldn't turn away somebody who was under 55, but it's just a matter of, does somebody, a 30-year-old, want to live in a building where everybody else is over 55, kind of thing. Yeah. So, right. Or they have restrictions on when you can, on noise, right? You can't play, any music after 9 o'clock or something like that, or whatever, right? So so it would kind of,
there's some variation like that with some of our Section 8 housing, which is government aid housing, low income. It's all a ratio. So dependent on vacancy, kind of determines it. It kind of varies on income amount and then vacancy, and they use a calculation to find out what your rent would be.
Yeah.
But if they're at like 90% capacity or higher, it goes to the market rate.
Mhm.
So even at that, it's not low income at that part because of the demand for the building.
That's right.
So you
That's
can
right.
still live there if you don't need assistance. But it only is in a certain window where they're at a high capacity and it goes to market rate. So it's, there's so many nuances like that.
Yeah. The other thing I've seen here is that the building is catered towards seniors, and they actually have like a meal plan. Like but it's not an actual retirement home. You can buy into the meal plan, or you can buy into therapeutic services, and it's like a mandatory buy-in. So somebody who doesn't need those then is not going to be interested in paying an additional, 500 or 1,000 bucks, whatever it is. I don't know what the amount is a month in order to get those services, right? But somebody who may need those would be interested, right? And that's how kind of you get around that whole age thing.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that, but that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I'd have to check to see if they offer those, because we have
Maybe
one.
they do. Yeah.
We have one actually in between mine and Natasha's house. One of these 55 and up. I feel like I'm going to call them either today or Monday to see if they have any of those amenities.
Just say, hey, I'm 54. Can I get in?
Yeah.
Two of them, Marcus. One kind of between me and the church, and then one between me and you.
Oh, that's right, by the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I'll call. I'll put an update on that one. I'm curious because the buildings are not that big. So if they hide them somewhere, they do it well.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I'll make a mental note.
Yeah, let me know. I'm curious.
I will. So what else has been going on up in Canada other than winning awards, closing deals?
Yeah. It's just been a bit busy time right now. I'm doing a lot of media stuff. I've had a couple of interviews published in Authority magazine. I've been on local television and things like that. So very excited about that. Yeah. And I've been invited to be a keynote speaker in May at this summit for entrepreneurs and things. So yeah, so things are awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be exciting. So
have you started the speech already?
No, I haven't.
Did you ever watch The Office?
Yeah, I've seen some bits and pieces of that. Yeah.
So when Dwight had to give a speech, and he started like banging on the lecture, and he was like screaming. I was like, someone's got to pull that out on a keynote speech, just as an opener to break the silence and get people laughing, and then actually get into their speech. But obviously, you have to have the right audience for that.
Yeah, you do. You have to have the right audience. I'm not sure if I would do that, but
no, I think this is a little bit more it's too professional to pull that out.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's up in Canada.
It's US based. I think I'm the only Canadian that's been invited. Most of the other speakers are all American. Yeah, that's a big deal then. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's very exciting. A friend of mine that I met online, RJ, he's organizing it, so he invited me in. Yeah, that's cool. Where is it in the US? I think he's in Washington. Okay. I think he's out there, West Coast area. So, Washington State. I should clarify. Yeah. So I think most of these speakers are from around there. There might be one in New York or something like that, but Okay. That's exciting. Hopefully that goes well. Good luck writing the speech. Thank you. I'm a notorious procrastinator, and I think I do my best work last minute anyway. So I'll cram the night before.
You and I would not get along at all.
No way. Okay.
I have to get everything done as soon as it's given to me, and I freak out if I'm waiting till the last minute.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to nail it into my son's little brain too.
Yeah. I wish I was like that. And I just, I don't know. I just I've got a week to do this. No problem. And the next thing you know, oh my God, I could do tomorrow. Oh my God.
My husband are one and the same. I totally
get it. Yeah.
And there was something to be said. I cannot I can't remember who said it, but it was in a book that was like, whether you take 13 hours to do this or you take 3 hours, you're going to finish it in the time allotted. So if you leave yourself 5 hours to write a speech, in 5 hours, no matter what, your speech is going to be done because you have no more time.
That's right.
That's the speech you're giving.
Right.
Yeah, but I've always been
definitely lowers my anxiety knowing like, okay, I can procrastinate because it's going to be done eventually.
Yeah. Even going back to high school, I remember like cramming for exams the night before. That was always the way I did it. Yeah.
Same with me. Up until college, when I got into psychology and learned that there's a better way to do it.
Yes.
I was always the crammer.
Yeah.
But after about my sophomore year of college, learning like you should study over time. Yeah. So I'd go into the library a week before my test, and every day leading up to it, I'd study for like an hour, and then Friday would be like my extended review.
Wow. And
it allowed me to walk into class without like the note cards and the sheets, and I'd walk in with nothing, just my pen.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that's awesome.
The professors were like, what, are you not, like, are you giving up or are you prepared? I can't gauge, are you too relaxed or are you panicking and just have thrown up your hands?
Just exactly, just whatever happens.
And I was like, no, I studied as much as I could. There's nothing in the last 10 minutes I'm going to study that's going to sit here.
Yeah.
So I might as well go and relax.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. So
that definitely eased out of the procrastination mode for me.
Takes a lot of discipline, though. It takes a lot of discipline to do that, especially when you're younger. Yeah.
I'm just a nervous Nelly all the time. Can't help it. Doesn't matter. I'm scared.
Yeah. I don't get the nervousness from you, Natasha. So you must be very prepared.
I'm just really good at hiding it. The smile. It's a nervous smile, and it just doesn't leave my face.
Is there a certain like topic you're talking on with this keynote, or do they leave that open-ended for the keynote speaker? I've never talked to a keynote speaker before they actually wrote their speech.
Yeah, I think because I've been doing this media stuff, I think they've asked me to speak on that, and said, maybe you can speak on media and how to leverage that to grow your business, kind of thing. So
okay, so your Instagram, your Facebook posts.
How to leverage social media.
You go live almost every week, don't you?
I used to. I've slacked now a little bit. Last couple of weeks, I haven't done it. So, but I'm definitely going to get back on doing that. I've got one coming up next week on Wednesday, and then April. Hopefully, I'll do a few there. So get back on track there.
Yeah. Because I always get the little alerts on my phone that Lambros is live.
Nice. Oh, you get that? Oh, good. At least it's working. I know someone's getting it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. So, which reminds me, you guys are welcome to come back. Hopefully it'll work this time, because I know last time we had some technical issues.
That one's on me.
So, yeah.
That one's on me.
All right.
But now I'm in my nice home office.
Oh, okay.
Where before it was the mobile office where we didn't really get cell service.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. But yeah, we'll have to jump back on.
Yeah. Let's do that. For sure.
Because if I remember correctly, I only was able to go on for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you were on and off, and exactly, it was like a few seconds, and then boom, you're off again. And Natasha was, carrying the whole show.
Yep, the new investor, because that was right after you bought your property, wasn't it?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Now
so the new investor carrying the show.
That's right. Excellent. I think we did talk about that. We talked about your new property. We talked about the marketing side that you do as well. So, I say we set up this meeting after this house sells so that I can be on like a positive wavelength of this project finally being done. I think that's when we set this up. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Which is only a few more weeks.
Okay.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
Party.
I know.
Well, to pop some champagne for you, Marcus.
Well, I'll bring some champagne for the show.
Okay. I won't say no.
Nice.
Well, awesome. Well, we'll recap on that show, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Reach out. Let me know when the timing, when your house is sold, etc. I'd love to know how much you got for it, etc. Whether all the work was, done to it and was worth it. So, and then, I'll bring you on the show for sure.
Yeah, I'll bring some pictures. We can go over numbers and all that stuff. I'll show some before and afters, and
nice.
We'll get that organized. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Sounds great.
And then when is your keynote?
I think it's May 7th, if I'm not mistaken. If that's
Okay.
a Saturday, I think that's the date. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we could do it after that, and then we could talk this house and how your keynote speech went.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Before, probably not a good idea before, because I'll be cramming for this.
Exactly. We'll give you some space and let you prepare
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
if that works.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this should be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time again. Thanks for the update up in Canada.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, enjoy the weather today.
Yeah, we'll
And
do.
hopefully it keeps going up from here. And next time we talk, we'll all be in tank tops.
That's
and
right.
Wishing that our air conditioners weren't broke.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Natasha, Marcus.
Have a
Have a
good
great
day.
day. You bet. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.